what I use whenever I make encased florals or my hearts with any kind of flower decoration on them. I like to give them leaves or vines. It always looks better to have some sort of greenery in the bead. So to make my vine, I use a rod of pea green opaque glass. And I'm going to wind some around a mandrel that has not been dipped in bead release. And this is going to stick to this mandrel, but it really does not matter because this is the only reason or the only use I have for this particular one. I can't make beads on it because there's glass stuck to it actually, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to wind a nice size blob, maybe the size of a grape, around this bare mandrel. Then I'm going to marver it into a barrel shape. Okay, I think that's going to be enough. Got a nice size there. About the size of I don't know, very small grape. So I'm going to marver this into a barrel shape. I'm going to press it flat on the edge. Now I'm going to take a rod of transparent green. This is a darker green that I really, really like. Gives my vines a very nice, nice color. Very brilliant. So I'm slowly warming this up until I get a nice gather. And I'm going to swipe rows of glass onto this opaque color that I've already laid down on my mandrel. So you just begin by swiping the glass. I'm going to let it touch the mandrel too, just so that when I pull the cane out, it's going to hold on to the transparent glass instead of pulling it out and leaving just opaque on the bottom of the cane. And this isn't, you don't have to be really neat when you do this, just kind of get it on there as evenly as you can, but it doesn't matter. If you've got a little bit more on one side than the other, it's all going to pull out. Some people make canes by using they'll go around the bead, you know, and just kind of do wraps, but I kind of think it's easier and faster as well to do it this way. Plus it avoids air bubbles, which can be problematic when you're applying the cane to a bead. I turn my gas up a little bit to make this go faster. This is stuff that sometimes I do ahead of time before I even start torching for a session. I'll just sit down and make canes and just whatever I need, Murini or whatever I'm going to use during the torching session one day, because this can really slow you down when you're trying to get a kiln full. Okay, so I've got my transparent glass laid down on the opaque. I'm going to kind of smooth this out a little bit. And I'm going to use these little tongs to speed that process along. And because I don't want my vines just to be green, I'm going to stripe some black. I'm going to use some really thin black all the way around this cane. And it's just going to kind of give it some, I don't know, just a different look than just plain green. And the neat thing about opaque black, or I'm sorry, transparent black, it's always gonna look a little purple when it's really thin. In this case, that's kind of what I want in this vine cane. So I've already pulled out a very thin stringer of black. Now I'm going to go in and stripe this on very, very thin. Again, touching the bare mandrel with the black. I'm only going to do about 4 of these. You don't really need much for this. Again, it doesn't matter if you get the stripes on straight or not. It's all going to come out straight when you pull it. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to melt. I don't know if you can see how this looks now. But I'm going to melt those stripes in. Again, this is just all time consuming. That it's not nearly as much fun as applying the cane to a bead, but it's got to be done if you want the effect I'm after. So melting these in, this doesn't take very long. But you kind of have to keep it under control, not let it get too molten that it starts to twist while you're turning the mandrel. Otherwise you're going to get a cane that's just not very uniform. This is almost ready, so I'm picking up my tweezers here. They're serrated and it really holds onto the glass very nicely once I'm ready to pull it out. And it is getting there, so I'm going to take this out of the flame because it's starting to twist on itself. I'm going to grab the very end with my tweezers and I'm going to wait just a second and let this kind of sit up a little bit. Then I'm just going to start pulling this out. I'm pulling slowly at first because the glass is really hot and I don't want to go too thin. And now I'm going to speed it up a little bit because the glass is starting to cool off. And there I have a really nice size cane that I can use. I would say that's about, I don't know, 1.5 to close to 2 feet, which is going to last me, I don't know, a couple beads anyway. So that's how I pull my vine cane.